Okay, so we're diving deep today into the fall of Constantinople.
All right.
You've given me some really interesting sources on this, and I'm kind of excited to get into it.
Yeah.
This city was around for what, like over 1,000 years?
Over 1,000
It was
years.
this huge center for, civilization and the arts and trade.
Right.
Then boom, 1453, down it goes.
Yeah.
But was it just like military power that brought it down?
That's the question.
Or was there something else going on here?
Yeah, was there something more, maybe a little more hidden? It's interesting because Constantinople had withstood so many sieges before this one.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it was considered almost impossible to capture
Wow.
because of its location and those incredible walls.
So what was different in 1453?
Well, our sources point to a few things, starting with the attackers. The Ottomans, led by this really ambitious Sultan Mehmed II.
Mehmed II.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty intense.
He did not like to take no for an answer.
And the siege in 1453, it was a long one, right?
50 days.
50 days.
A brutal 50 days.
So what did the Ottomans have that other attackers didn't?
Well, they brought this game changer to the fight. Cannons.
Massive cannons.
Ones the world had never really seen before.
Okay.
Like one of them was called the Basilica, and it could fire this 600-pound stone ball.
A 600-pound stone ball. Where did they even get a stone that big?
I know, right? And it could launch it over a mile. Constantinople's walls, they were impressive, but they weren't designed for this.
Right. They were made for, like, older ways of fighting.
Exactly.
I can't imagine trying to defend against that kind of firepower.
Yeah, it must have been terrifying to be on the receiving end of that.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's more to this story than just these big cannons.
Exactly.
Your sources mentioned that it wasn't just the enemy at the gates that Constantinople had to deal with. They were also having problems on the inside.
That's right, internal struggles.
Okay, so what kind of internal problems are we talking about?
Well, a few things.
Mm.
For one, there were these religious tensions within the city. You had the Byzantine Empire, which was Eastern Orthodox Christian, and the Ottomans were Muslim.
Right.
And this wasn't just about religion, this division. It had political and social consequences, too.
So it's like a city divided against itself, and then they have this super determined enemy at their walls.
Yeah, not a good combination.
Not good at all. And on top of all that,
Yeah.
didn't you mention something about a prophecy?
Oh, yes, the
Right, yeah,
prophecy.
yeah.
It's actually mentioned in several of the sources you provided.
Really?
Yeah, and it basically foretold that the city would fall.
Wow. So are we talking like Nostradamus level prophecy here or something different?
It's hard to say for sure how much stock people actually put into this prophecy back then.
Right.
But just think about the psychological impact.
Yeah, like if you're a defender and you're already facing these impossible odds, and then you hear about this prophecy that says you're doomed.
Exactly. Does it make you fight even harder, or do you just give up hope?
Man, that's a chilling thought. It's like facing a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It really makes you wonder how much psychological warfare played a role in this whole siege.
Right, because it's not just about the physical fighting, it's about what's going on in people's minds.
Yeah, their morale, their beliefs, and how they hold on to those beliefs when everything seems to be falling apart around them.
Absolutely. So
Uh-huh.
after 50 days of this brutal siege, Constantinople falls on May 29th, 1453.
The end of an era.
What happened after that?
Well, Mehmed II, he enters the city
Mm-hmm.
and declares it as the new capital of the Ottoman Empire.
Wow, so it's like the end of one empire and the beginning of another.
Exactly. And the fall of Constantinople, it had this ripple effect across history.
How so?
It shifted the balance of power in Europe and in the Mediterranean.
Right, it's like a major turning point.
Exactly. And it's a story with so many layers to it.
Yeah, we got the military side of things, the technology, those massive cannons.
Right.
And then the internal struggles, the religious tension.
And the prophecy.
Right, the prophecy adding this whole other dimension to it all.
It really makes you think.
It does. It makes you think about how events from the past can still resonate with us today.
That's right. Because we're still dealing with many of the same issues.
Like what?
Well, think about it. How do modern cities and nations deal with internal divisions? How do they face external threats, and how do they adapt to these rapid technological advancements that are happening all around us?
Right. It's like we can learn from what happened in Constantinople and maybe even avoid making the same mistakes.
Exactly. The lessons from history, they're still relevant.
Maybe even more so now than ever before.
I think so.
It's like this event from over 500 years ago can give us some valuable insights into the challenges we face today.
That's the power of history.
And the power of a good deep dive.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining me on this one.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
And keep those deep dives going.
Indeed.
See you later.
Goodbye.